Hey guys, let's get more news about Steelers, but first, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave a like. First call, Steelers offense called most depressing in NFL, Ben Roethlisberger on George Pickens trade. Wednesday's first call has been Roethlisberger's reaction to the Steelers trading George Pickens. A former NFL QB says the Steelers' offense is at the bottom of the NFL barrel. We monitor some potential free agent wide receiver movement. The Duquesne basketball team offers a scholarship to an interesting prospect, and we look at the give and take of the RMU hockey transfer portal. Depressed Dan ESPN's Dan Orlovsky isn't holding back when describing the state of the Steelers. The former NFL quarterback turned ESPN analyst was on the Pat McAfee show on Tuesday. He says the outlook for the Steelers' offense is as grim as any of the bad teams in the NFL. Pittsburgh, the way I look at it now, there's no offense in the league that scares you less than Pittsburgh, Orlovsky said on Tuesday. There's no situation that is more, I guess, depressing than Pittsburgh's right now. That sounds like hyperbole to me. As bad as the Steelers' situation is on offense, if Aaron Rodgers shows up and is capable of playing the way he did toward the end of last season with the New York Jets, the Steelers could still be better than the likes of Cleveland, New Orleans, Tennessee, the Giants, New England and Carolina. Orlovsky said that he would have preferred to see the Steelers retain Justin Fields or draft Ole Miss quarterback Jackson Dart. Orlovsky is dubious of Aaron Rodgers' 41-year-old body holding up very long. That last point, granted, is difficult to debate, especially if Rodgers is going to be playing behind the Steelers' offensive line. Only seeing the surface speaking on his Football and podcast, former Steelers quarterback Ben Roethlisberger had a thought that many Steelers fans have had since George Pickens was traded to Dallas last week. Is he a bigger headache than we even know? Roethlisberger wondered. Obviously, we saw last year there were some issues. Coach Mike Tomlin even came out for the first time in a long time and criticized a player, saying he needs to grow up. Publicly. New York Jets player Allen Lazard in play for trade with Pittsburgh Steelers. There are rumors that New York Jets wide receiver Allen Lazard may be traded to the Pittsburgh Steelers. This trade, should it take place, would echo what happened when quarterback Aaron Rodgers brought a handful of players with him when moving from the Green Bay Packers to the Jets. Should the trade follow through, and the Jets lose Lazard, there will be ripple effects felt by the whole team, as well as fans and sports bettors. This is especially the case because the Jets are already struggling with the wide receiver depth chart. Even if Lazard remains, his skill combined with Garrett Wilson and Arian Smith simply isn't enough to secure their success. However, a trade could turn into a welcome relief for the Jets fans who have had enough with all of his drops. Although letting Lazard go will be a difficult challenge, the opportunity to work with new, talented players may give the Jets the push they need. Either way, fans and sports bettors using New York betting apps will certainly be changing their tactics when it comes to placing their bets on the New York Jets. Should new members be welcomed onto the team, these bettors will need to study how well the reshuffled team plays together and adjust their tactics accordingly. Luckily, they are in good hands when doing so and can enjoy the many bonuses that come with these offshore casinos, even if they leave the state of New York. The rumors regarding the possibility of Allen Lazard leaving the New York Jets come from Pro Football Talk, which stated the player is in play for a trade to the Steelers. The Steelers wanting to take on Lazard would make sense, especially after they recently sent George Pickens to the Dallas Cowboys and left a vacant spot in their wideout room. Additionally, Lazard recently took a significant pay cut, dropping his earnings from $11.5 million to $2.5 million, meaning the Steelers would be getting an incredible deal by taking him on now. They are likely to be further motivated by their recent loss of key players within their team. On the other hand, the skill of Lazard on the side of the Steelers might not be as strong as it has been during his time with the Jets. This is because Lazard has always worked in tandem with Aaron Rodgers and excels at catching passes from this four-time NFL MVP. If Rodgers doesn't sign on with the Steelers, too, then this iconic duo will likely both be weaker players without the assistance of the other. It is evident in the history of Allen Lazard's play that he performs better with Rodgers by his side. In 2023, without Rodgers, he had 23 catches for 311 yards and 1 touchdown over 12 games. However, when Rodgers returned a year later, Lazard showed improvement with 37 catches for 530 yards and 6 touchdowns. Steelers receive significant Aaron Rodgers update ahead of NFL schedule release. ESPN's Adam Schefter provided an update in the Pittsburgh Steelers' effort to sign Aaron Rodgers while appearing on ESPN's Unsportsmanlike on Tuesday morning. The Pittsburgh Steelers' wait for Aaron Rodgers reaches 2 months this week. There also doesn't appear to be an end in sight. NFL insider Adam Schefter, though, projected while appearing on ESPN's Unsportsmanlike on Tuesday that the Steelers might finally get a Rodgers resolution just before mandatory minicamp in June. "I think the Steelers' mandatory minicamp is next month. Forget the exact date, roughly June 10, Schefter said on the radio show, via Steelers Depot's Ross McCorkle. "I would think that we would get a decision from Aaron Rodgers shortly before then about whether or not he should play. To me, you can't miss that mandatory minicamp where you start gearing up. I guess you can, but it's not ideal." Schefter's memory served him correctly. The Steelers will begin mandatory minicamp on June 10. The team's voluntary off-season workouts, though, begin prior to that on May 27. Schefter's update comes during NFL schedule release week, which is notable, because the Steelers will play Rodgers' former team, the Green Bay Packers, in 2025. ESPN's Adam Schefter projects Aaron Rodgers' timeline for Steelers. Schefter is one of the most plugged in NFL insiders. That's why any update he gives on Rodgers is going to be news. But it's important to note that this update is not a report. Because minicamp is considered mandatory, Schefter's opinion is that Rodgers wouldn't miss those workouts with his new team. Rodgers and the Steelers could have a different opinion about the quarterback's minicamp participation. Rodgers made it rather clear during an appearance on ESPN's The Pat McAfee Show on April 17 that he has people in his inner circle dealing with personal issues that are his current priority. Now, this is my opinion, but Rodgers didn't sound like a man willing to let mandatory minicamp impact his timeline. "This entire time I haven't felt like I owed anybody some sort of decision at any point," Rodgers told McAfee, via NFL.com's Eric Edholm. "This is my life. I said things are different now. My personal life is different. I have stuff in the inner circle that I'm intimately close to, that's really important to me. I've been upfront with them about that, and said, listen, if you need to move on. If you need to do something, by all means. By all means. Nothing but love and respect if that's the decision that needs to be made. There's been no deadline. I've talked to Steelers head coach, Mike Tomlin, many times." Rodgers missed mandatory minicamp with the New York Jets last season for a trip to Egypt. For most of his career with the Packers, though, Rodgers fully participated in off-season workouts. Speaking of the Packers, Steelers-Packers were rumored this offseason to be the NFL's matchup for Dublin in Week 4. But on Tuesday, the league announced the Steelers will face the Minnesota Vikings in Dublin. It's possible the NFL either knows or is holding out hope Rodgers will sign with Pittsburgh to make the Steelers-Packers matchup a primetime affair at Acrisure Stadium. Rodgers has never played the Packers in his NFL career. How long will Steelers wait for Rodgers? After failing to sign a couple of the top free agent quarterbacks, the Steelers gave Rodgers a contract offer. And you fan? What do you think about Aaron Rodgers' situation? Write to us in the comments.